Welcome to our January 2023 episode of Let's Talk Tech, and a very happy new year. I know 2023 is going to be a really great year. Unfortunately, holiday scams were at an all-time high, so the best defense that you have against any credit card issues or other things is to make sure that your card's statements are accurate. In this episode, we will discuss Streaming 101, learn about geolocation, and visit with Joel Goldstein, Google Photos guru. You might have seen some of Joel's pictures on this day. Hi, Cheryl. Happy New Year and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. And Happy New Year to you. I hear you just took a little trip.
I did. At the end of November, I took a trip to the UK and Ireland, and you might see a few pictures up on the screen right now.
Wow, that looks like such a fantastic trip.
It really was. There were some beautiful sights there, that is definitely for sure. And it was great to get out in the world again.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was. Hey, listen, I hear that our next couple of episodes are going to cover Streaming 101.
Yep, that's true. That's true. We're gonna go back to basics.
Well, I think that's a great idea because that'll help our residents learn about all the streaming availability, all their options. They can learn and understand it, and even if you have a bit of technical knowledge, it can be so confusing. Oh,
I'm even confused by it, so I can't imagine, just if it's confusing to me, it's got to be confusing to a lot of people. And even though we've talked about it many times over many episodes in bits and pieces, I want to kind of start from the beginning and just lay the groundwork for where streaming and viewing is going.
Right. So here's the $1 million question. What is the difference between watching regular television and streaming?
Well, that's always a great question, and I'm so happy to answer it. So the main difference between streaming and watching TV is the content transmission technology. Basically, that is just how the picture ends up on your TV screen or device. As a child, I never understood how that happened and how those little people got in there, but I'm not sure I still do. So streaming depends on the internet, while watching regular TV depends on an antenna, cable networks, or satellite services. Streaming also allows you to watch what you want when you want. One thing that will be necessary is a high enough internet speed and big enough data stream included in your service that gives you the best experience in your own home. As more and more devices rely on the internet to work, the data stream, which I call the highway, can become very busy. We will be looking into the internet and what is needed for good streaming over the next few episodes in much more depth. So here in Laguna Woods Village, we have our own cable, right from the wall. Many residents may have an additional set-top box to access premium channels and the ability to record TV to watch later using their DVR, which here is called TiVo. But the basic cable signal is available from the coaxial cable in your manor, and it's already included in your monthly assessment. The benefits of that system are the ease of use. Most of us are comfortable picking up the remote, clicking one button to turn it on, and then just changing the channel. For the vast majority, that is our comfort zone. Historically, from watching on that little small box and getting up to physically change the dial to now using the remote, we still like to click one button and be able to watch. Streaming will be slightly different, and it'll be a tiny learning curve, but nothing to fear. Maybe a few more clicks are needed to watch the content. The thought of the change is the hardest part, because most of us don't like change. So let's dig a little deeper on how all this really works. All of this is predicated on having a smart TV, which is the most popular way for Americans to access streaming services, with about 31% of Americans using this method. If you bought a TV in the past 10 years, chances are it's considered smart. That is, it connects to the internet and has streaming apps built right in. Unfortunately, it may not have every app you want, and there's often no way to add new ones to older sets. So right now, there are a few main ways to watch TV content. The most simple is the cable from the wall in the cable box. That is just what I was talking about, but let me go a little deeper. This is really a plug-and-play situation. You can buy a new TV, attach the cable. In our case in the village, it's already live and ready to play. Run a channel scan and use the remote that came with the TV. This works for television sets that are usually newer than at least 10 years. If you use the set-top box, then that's connected to the cable and you use the universal remote that comes with the box. Depending on what you pay for, some of the remotes have the ability to use your voice to change channels, which is handy. The reality is that we all have grown used to this, and thinking about changing is what we need to consider as cable television channels are changing too, and we don't know what the future may hold in that changing environment. Standard definition resolution is a dinosaur at this point. The last time a TV show broadcast in standard definition was 2014, and most TVs started being manufactured in HD at that time. Today, SD TVs are no longer even produced. 4K TVs exist at the opposite end of the spectrum. They produce the best picture money can buy right now, but new technology is always coming for higher resolution. Streaming. Streaming is what I want to really talk about. This is a way to watch content by opening the internet and choosing an application to watch the content contained within the app. Examples of this are Hulu, YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, and dozens of others. For the most part, all of this content is not free. You must pay a monthly subscription fee to access it. Enhanced versions of the apps often include local channels, such as ABC Channel 7 is just one example. Also, many local stations offer app-based watching. You can add the app to your device and click it to watch their content. Typically, that's popular for like up-to-the-moment news. Then there's a digital antenna. Remember the old rabbit ears? Well, a digital antenna is the 2022 version of those items. Called over-the-air, or OTA, they can work well for sports and the evening news. And it doesn't look at all like the rabbit ears, though. There's a picture on your screen. These digital antennas will pick up the strongest signals. Main channels often broadcast a strong enough signal to pick up in your unit, and the range of an antenna is typically about 75 miles. For example, Mount Wilson, which is where most LA channels have their broadcast towers, is 75 miles from here. You may only get a small number of channels, and there are no guarantees. Signal strengths can vary, but the advantage of this is a very low upfront expense, somewhere between $40 and $120, and no ongoing expense. But you do get free TV, and if you mainly watch just a few local channels, this may be the answer for even getting something like KTLA Channel 5. Yes, your smart TV will work without an internet connection, but you'll only be able to watch those TV channels with a cable box or an antenna, connect Blu-ray or a DVD player, or hook it up to speakers, just like a regular TV. You will, however, not be able to use any video streaming apps that come with it if you're not connected to the internet. You can also cast your device to a TV. For example, you could access YouTube on your iPad and then share or mirror your iPad screen to your TV. And you could just have no TV at all. But if you're watching this show, that's likely not the case. And in reality, in our senior community, the ability to watch is really very important. So you might be thinking, why does this matter? Well, the world is changing, technology is changing, and ultimately we in the village will be facing change here as well, and in the not so distant future. In fact, it's getting harder and harder to watch TV without streaming. 2018 marked the first year that there were more scripted original TV shows on streaming services than broadcast and basic cable. And a recent Deloitte study found that more U.S. consumers now subscribe to streaming service than a regular and traditional pay TV type subscription. If you haven't already hopped on the streaming bandwagon, the options can feel a little overwhelming. By some counts, there are more than 200 streaming services to choose in the U.S. Our broadband department here, in conjunction with the Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, have their ears to the ground and their finger on the pulse of the future. Frequent meetings to discuss all of the options are constantly being held. Over the next few years, the ability to offer programming the way we do now will change, and we won't have a choice. Time passes quickly, and what we may have considered for 8 or 10 years from now has accelerated to just a few years. Delivery methods and programming costs will continue to increase in price, and that is out of our control. In order to survive the changes, we must learn to navigate them the best way we can and offer the most we can to our residents. As a member myself of the Broadband Ad Hoc, the behind-the-scenes work on this is intense, and we are turning over every rock to explore all possible options and find the best suited for Laguna Woods Village before any decisions are ever made. We are a unique community with regards to owning our own cable network, but we are a very small fish in a large and changing pond, and we are swimming as fast as we can. So over the next several episodes, we're going to dig deeper into each of these types of television viewing and try to demystify what it all means and what you really want out of your TV viewing. So you'll need to do a little homework and consider your actual viewing needs. One of the first things you should consider is what you watch most frequently. Make a list. If you know that the Food Channel is your favorite and you wouldn't consider any other option that doesn't have that, you want to make sure you have the Food Channel. If you watch local stations such as ABC7, be sure to list them. If you watch a lot of sports, be sure to include those channels. Your list may be long, but again, think about what you watch most of the time. The second part regards your need for speed. This is actually two things: the speed of the downloads and also the amount of data that you need. As discussed before, the internet is like a highway. Sometimes it can be congested, just like the 405 freeway at rush hour. How many devices do you use? How often are you streaming content from apps like Netflix or YouTube? For a point of reference, as you consider the recommended internet speed for streaming in a standard definition video is 3 to 10 megabytes per second. To stream Hulu, Netflix, you'll want a minimum download speed of 25 megabytes per second. For more devices and users, you'll want a speed closer to 50 megabytes. An internet speed of 100 megabytes is fast enough for a household of up to 4 people if they're streaming videos in high definition, participating in video chat meetings over Zoom, or playing multiple online games. So, we'll talk more about this in future episodes, but I want you to do your homework first.
Wow, I learned so much from all that, and I thought I knew it. Thanks again.
Always, always, and thank you for joining me, as always, and have a great birthday.
Oh, I will. Thanks, Deb.
All right. And when we come back, we'll talk about geolocation.
At Healing Hearts Emergency Animal Hospital, we are dedicated to emergency veterinary care through high-quality veterinary services and compassion. We offer state-of-the-art diagnostics at competitive pricing. Our doctors will see and care for dogs, cats, and most exotics. In case of emergency, rest assured Healing Hearts Emergency is here for you when your primary veterinarian is closed. Open nights, weekends, and all major holidays.
So what the heck is geolocation? Well, back in August, the Federal Trade Commission announced it had filed a landmark lawsuit against data brokers for selling geolocation data from hundreds of millions of mobile devices that can be used to trace individuals' timestamp movements to sensitive locations. These included health clinics, places of worship, addiction recovery, shelters for the unhoused and survivors of domestic violence, and just the average person, basically invading your privacy. The U.S. has weak privacy laws in general. Very few laws in the U.S. even relate to data brokers, let alone constrain their actions. The FTC's case could establish that this kind of data surveillance, monetization, and exploitation is an unfair or deceptive business practice, exposing those brokers to punishment. So what does that mean to you? Well, if that case is successful, those who use your data to make money will face punishment. It's a small step, but it's better than nothing. So if you've ever seen this pop up on your computer when conducting a Google search, there's a picture on the screen. This is an example of geolocation use. In this case, Google's trying to provide you with more pertinent information related to the search, but for me, I always click block. I just spent about 20 minutes on my mobile devices going through each app and turning off the location services or limiting access to my location. Unless you're using a map application that relies on your physical location to offer help, all of location services are optional for other apps. If an app ever asks to track your location, you can just say no, or say use it only when using that app. Go into your mobile device setting, turn off location services unless you're using a map service. Turn it off when you aren't using the map. Really, where you go is no one's business but yours, but in this time of technology, it's hard not to be tracked in some way. This is not to be meant to be alarmist. It's just a suggestion to limit what you can when you can. You can also turn off your location on your laptop for Google Maps. Speaking of Google, if you use Chrome as your browser, you'll want to go into the snowman, those 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, click Settings, go to About. Recently, Chrome had a significant update to their browser, and for stability and security, you'll want to make sure you update. Most other browsers, such as Microsoft Edge and Firefox, offer periodic updates and may not give you notice either. For Safari, they normally let you know that an update is needed. So just make sure you've got your browser as current as possible. And when we come back, we'll talk to Joel Goldstein from the Camera Club on Google Photos tips and tricks.
At Genesis of Laguna Niguel, we care about every customer and treat you like family. So think of us kind of like a good grandson. We take our time to go over all your new Genesis's technology features, step by step, all in the comfort of our showroom while enjoying complimentary refreshments. Or if you prefer, we can deliver your new Hyundai and cover everything in person. It's that easy. For a simply better buying and ownership experience, visit Genesis of Laguna Niguel.
So we're here with Joel Goldstein. He is a Google photo guru and part of the Camera Club for a very long time. Welcome, Joel. Thanks for joining me today.
It's good to be here.
Good. And I know the Camera Club is a part, but you do a lot of other things, and we might have even seen your pictures on this day. Back when Lisa used to show pictures, we've seen some great shots. So in January, you have your annual awards type thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Camera Club has critiques throughout the year where professional judges evaluate pictures and give comments and scores. And then at the end of the year, people submit pictures for the end of the year awards. And 3 judges determine first through 4th place awards in various categories, and also select a judge's favorite. And those are presented at our annual dinner, which this year is in January.
One of the things that I think is really great about the Camera Club too is that you have right now. I know periodically on TV6 you play you play like a music to a bunch of your photos, and they're always so beautiful. Everybody does such a great job. But really, what I wanted to have you talk to my audience today about was Google Photos, because I know that's a big part of your thing, and you're really good at this. And Google Photos are actually so easy to use, and so many people are using their smartphones for photos. So if you just want to give us some tips and tricks, that would be
Sure.
greatly appreciated.
Let me just give you a brief overview of what it is and why I like it. It's an app that's free from Google. You have to have a Google account, which gives you a Gmail address if you want to use it, but you don't have to. But once you've signed up for a Google account, you can then use Google Photos by putting the app on your phone or clicking on the Google Photos icon on your computer. And once you've got it, it's a place where you can store, edit, organize, and especially share your pictures. So many people take pictures and then they only share them by holding up their phone to someone, and you can do a lot better than that.
I'm guilty.
It's cloud-based, which means that you can access your pictures from anywhere that you can get on the internet.
That's
And-
handy.
And you can use it with pictures taken either with a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer, or a camera. And it's very easy. It is a wonderful free service that Google is putting more and more energy into and constantly upgrading.
And I know that you actually teach some classes on this too.
Yes, I do. I have taught maybe a dozen times between the PC Club and the Camera Club classes on Google Photos. I'd like to remind people that it's good for videos as well as still pictures. And what you do is you put all your pictures in there and then you tag the ones that you want to belong to an album. And that album can have anywhere from 1 to 500 or more pictures in it. And then you create a link to that album and you can paste that link into an email or put it on Facebook or some other, or even text it to someone. And if they click on that link, they can see that album as you've organized it, and they don't have to download anything. They don't have to use any special software. All they have to do is be able to open an email or a text and click the link.
That's cool because in fact, I just, I had a big trip in November and I took over 1,000 pictures, and I've been pondering ways to share it out with people, and no one wants to sit through 1,000 pictures, so I want to pick the best from each place I went and kind of do it. So I'm going home from here and I'm going to do that.
Yes, you want to make albums. Recently I had both high school and college reunions and took pictures and also got pictures that other people submitted to me, and I created albums. Oh. And then I got a link, and I was able to send, let's say, 200 pictures to 400 people with one click.
Wow.
You just put the address list in a BCC, ideally.
Right.
And
that's blind card.
then everybody has access to those pictures, and those are available from anywhere in the world.
That's wonderful, and I think just again for our community, because we do want to share with our grandkids or vice versa, just getting a handle on something so simple as Google Photos will really benefit everybody for sure.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful free service. If you want to learn more about Google Photos on your own, go to geeksontour.com, which is a couple that specializes in technology for seniors, and they have spoken here in the village, and both in live and virtually. And they have wonderful tutorials, and the woman in the group, in the couple, has written the book on Google Photos, which you can get by joining or paying for, and I highly recommend that book. You can get it either online or as a hard copy.
All right, so is there any other things that you want to share with the Camera Club, or are you scheduled to give any classes, or you're waiting?
I'll probably be teaching a Google Photos class next year, but the arrangements haven't been made yet. Let me tell you a little bit about the Camera Club. I'm the vice president,
please.
and it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest club in the village. And it's a wonderful resource for the community.
So the Camera Club actually has a physical location at Clubhouse 4.
Absolutely.
Is that manned by volunteers? Can people just drop in?
Yes, the club members staff what we call the lab, which is a facility with computers and scanners and printers, including a very large-scale professional printer that can print giant billboards and banners and things. And at the present time, it's staffed Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. But other arrangements can be made by appointment to come in at other times.
And does the Camera Club have an annual membership fee?
Yes, it does. I believe it's $20.
Okay.
And I think it's a bargain. And many of the classes are free. A few of them are taught by outside professionals, and there's a fee. But many of them are free. and you get, the critiques are free, the showcases are free if you're a villager.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, we're all about to wrap up here, Joel, so I so appreciate you coming to visit with me today on the show. I always like to bring in, technology-based or different things, and we hadn't talked to the Camera Club or to Joel yet, so thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
All right. As always, it's my pleasure to host this show and provide you with technology information. As we navigate the future, I'll be here to answer your questions and do my best to help make the information understandable. I always encourage you to send your questions or comments to talktech949@gmail.com and let me know what is on your mind. So I have a little experiment. On your screen right now is a QR code. If you put your camera from your phone on it and aim, the code will open up a web page with a link to a form. You can pop your questions right in there. Yes, this is a little bit high tech, but you're probably seeing these QR codes more and more on your TV screens. And what they do is offer extra content and sometimes even shopping. Just try it. Remember, you can watch us on TV6 twice a week and anytime on YouTube at the Village Television channel. It's easy to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great programming offered, not just this show. Be kind when posting online and have a wonderful month. Thank you for watching.